Hello everyone, I'm here today with Fionnuala Shannon. She's Executive Director of Dress for Success, one of the charities I support in my business. So first of all, hello Fionnuala, nice to see you.
Hi Mary, hi.
Right, so what I thought we'd start with is for anyone who hasn't heard of Dress for Success or isn't absolutely sure what they do, can you just tell us a little bit about the charity, who you're aimed at and what work and services you do for them?
Sure. So Dress for Success is based over in Kensington. We're part of a global organisation, obviously called Dress for Success. We're the Greater London branch, and we opened our doors in 2015. What we do is it's a no-brainer. We basically help women get back into the workplace by providing them with the tools and the professional clothes to make them successful at interview. In 2015, we helped about 215 women, and now we're seeing and reaching out to over 1,000 women. They are referred to us by support organisations, i.e. that's job centres, and support organisations who work with women from vulnerable situations like domestic violence, homelessness, mental health issues, ex-offenders, etc. We work with all the support organisations across Greater London, and we have about over 320 support organisations on our database. How we deliver our services? Well, it's been different in the pandemic, obviously, but previous to that, a support organisation referred a client when they were working towards a job interview, and they came to us. They were equipped with the tools, got interview skills, self-confidence skills, mock interview, CV, and career chat, and then they were dressed by a professional stylist and given a free or one or two outfits for their interview. When they got the job, because we never say if they get the job, we always say when they get the job, they come back to us for a free capsule wardrobe, and they're all prepared by our professional stylists. All our employees are volunteers. We still call them employees, but all our employees are volunteers, apart from a very small paid staff team. So we run quite a lean machine that does a lot of work and makes a great impact with the intervention that we deliver. Our volunteers come from individuals who have their own businesses like Mary, and also from corporate organisations who give up their volunteering days to come over to Dress for Success and either deliver interview skills, or they would prepare clothes, or they even would come over and steam the clothes and sort out our donations. Where we get our donations from, I have to say we're not government funded, which we actually should be, because we tick all the boxes of back to work, gender equality, the pay gap, and mental health issues. So we rely very heavily on fundraising, both from individuals, from corporates who we tap into their CSR strategies, and our own fundraisers. We do, through the pandemic, and maybe I should just say a bit about that, Mary, through the pandemic, we quickly turned all our services around, because we knew that our women would be experiencing a lot of increased stress and anxiety, especially those women who are maybe single parents, which the majority of our clients are, and especially women who were already experiencing mental health issues. So we quickly turned our physical services around to virtual services. So we launched a new initiative called the Dress for Success Express. And what that was a virtual styling session where our clients were booked in for a virtual styling session, and we give the confidence building in a Zoom call like this. And we went away and prepared the clothes, then went back on a Zoom call, showed them the outfits we prepared. And then we had a corporate sponsor the delivery of the clothes to the client in a lovely wrapped up package. So that in itself really boosted their confidence. We also worked with a lot of the corporates who maintain their virtual volunteering to give interview skills, to give career pathways, looking and reviewing their CVs, and also looking at transitional skills post-pandemic, that if, well, there is going to be a recession, it's already kicked in. So that where competition was going to be great, that we were ensuring that our clients would be up there to ensure that they would get employment. I mean, a lot of our clients were at low level, entry level employment, and so they were hit hard, like administration or hospitality or retail. So they were hit hard. So we're looking at those skills to see where they can transition them into other areas and other industries, which is really important as we move out of this pandemic. So that gives you a bit of a snapshot of what we do. I just want to add one thing. Our intervention, and I'm so proud of this, we used to be 1 in every 2 clients got the job about a month after our intervention. Now we're up to 80% of our women who come to us are successful in getting a job. So that's 8 out of 10 women who we have helped get the job. So that's a remarkable statistic in itself, and also makes you think about the amount of money we're saving the public purse each year.
See, that's incredible, 80%. And why is it so high? I mean, obviously it's because you provide a great service, but I suppose, is that what it is? It's the women have a lot more confidence going along to their interview?
So we do before and afters, and we do evaluation, and even the job centres, they don't provide that confidence building, and they don't provide, I mean, they provide, you come in, you sort of register for work, and they sort of help you get interviews, but they don't give you those tools that you need. So, I mean, a woman needs those tools. I mean, most people need these tools, but because we're a female organisation and we work with a lot of vulnerability, especially women have maybe been unemployed for a long time. I mean, the confidence, the one-to-one, our unique selling point is the one-to-one service they get when they come to us. I mean, who wouldn't like a couple of sessions that you are with a group of people who their whole attention is just on you? I mean, some of our women, for example, would come in and they wouldn't even look in a mirror. They maybe haven't got out of elasticated tracksuit bottoms or trousers for a long time. So even to try and build that instant rapport with them, you know, is one of our unique selling points. And then when they go out of the door, I mean, we always do before and after shoots, and we have some fabulous stories that we've had from women who advocate our service now, and we post on our website or Instagram. But our unique selling point is that experience, individual experience that they probably never had. And because our doors are always open, Mary, you know, it's not just about, oh, they come over to get dressed for an interview and they get interview skills. We give them continuous professional development, even when they get the job. So they have about 15 months at least of support from us. You know, once they get the job, they're invited back to a professional women's group, and we have corporates facilitate sessions that are relevant to them as they progress in their journey. So, you know, our unique selling point is the attention, the focus that we place on the women to make sure that they're empowered to become sort of independent.
Yeah, which is fantastic. And actually, you've told me before, but I can't remember the details, but isn't there some research which shows that if the mother has got a job, there is much more possibility that the children in that household will then at later age go on.
Absolutely. I mean, if you just Google empowerment, what does empowering women mean? You know, and I mean, there's worldwide research from, you know, lots of organizations and university to show that if you empower women, one, you know, you educate a village, and also one that you are better role models and leaders for their children, which means that they're less likely to take risk-taking behavior in the future, and you know, they're more likely to make positive choices, etc., as they go forward. And also, research does show too that women, if you empower women and they are successful in what they do, they're more likely to invest in their local economy as well. Men don't, women do, you know, so they're more likely to invest back into their local economy. And that's a worldwide statistic. That's not just relevant to the UK, that's a worldwide statistic. And I know when I used to work years ago in education and improving systems, we always focused on the parent and the female parent or whatever, because it showed that if if there's good sort of parenting skills, there are good role models, then for example their kids become more confident. And I mean, it's common sense really if you think about it, because if you have a woman who is in a vulnerable situation, there's no time invested, and she is at the bottom of her luck or whatever, I mean, those vibes is going to transfer onto her kids, you know. So you can imagine in this pandemic, and some of the women that we help, and they're in situations of, say, loneliness, or even in controlled relationships, you know, where they're frightened, and how that's going to transfer onto their children. So we've also, in addition to all the virtual services, we also opened up a befriending telephone after our service, which has become very, very popular. And all it was, we weren't a counselling service, because what we do, we signpost, because we're not experts in that field. But what it did do was just give a listening ear, you know, and as well as a weekly group seminar, in addition to our facilitated sessions, we just give a virtual coffee room, where you could come on and you could say, listen, I'm not okay today, and this is what happened. Because it's still okay not to be okay, and we need to break down that stigma of not being able to say that. Because I don't know about you, Mary, but myself, and I mean, you know, I'm executive director of Dress for Success, and I've lots of things going on, and I meet lots of people, but there were some days during this pandemic I wasn't feeling the greatest as well. So can you imagine a woman who has nothing, or is in a situation out of her control, and how she can feel?
Yeah. And I think it's lovely that for anyone investing in donating to Dress for Success, to know it's not actually just that woman you're helping her family, you're helping the generations that are coming behind her, which is such a positive thought.
Well, it's a full circle. It's a full circle, because, you know, I mean, you think across the globe, for example, we have helped, Dress for Success has helped over 1 million women across the globe.
It's amazing.
Think of the impact that has made her family. And even if her family has had a positive impact from a woman who has been empowered and has been given the tools to become more confident and look at her journey, etc., think of the knock-on effect and that ripple effect that's going to come down for generations, you know. I mean, I know from personal experience, my mum, who, I mean, my mum's in her 80s now, but my mum wanted to become a school teacher, and she couldn't because she was completely deaf in one ear. And she got one of a first scholarship way back in the 40s, you know, in Northern Ireland, which was hard to get then, you know, but she had to give it up because she couldn't hear. But what she did do, you know, thank goodness that her mother was very sort of empowering and confident too. She gave us all the confidence to go through school.
Wow. Yeah.
One of us became a school teacher, which was her dream, you know. So, I mean, things happen, and all you need, I mean, time is a wonderful thing. And just giving that woman a piece of time, it doesn't have to be money.
Exactly.
Not everybody has money to give. I mean, what we do is we tap into corporate CSR, and I have to say the corporates that we work with, and they're all on our website, do a fantastic job for us, plus the smaller organizations like yourself, Mary, who really support us in making an impact on women. But it doesn't have to be just financial. It could be just giving up a day of your time to volunteer for us, because that's making an impact. In fact, even if you come over and sort through your donations of clothes, you're still making an impact on that woman, because that sort of background work that we need to do. It's not just about, you know, the woman coming over and, you know, getting the interview skills and getting the lovely outfit. It's about what goes on underneath to make that happen.
And you've said that so many of your staff are volunteers, so you obviously need a lot of help with things like sorting the clothes and making sure they're pressed and everything.
Well, what a typical day at Dress for Success physical services, and we're opening up our physical services in January, because we've just secured, and we're hoping to purchase premises this year, but in the meantime, we have temporary premises over beside our shop in Kensington. And it's a whole entire floor. So we're going to open up plenty of social distancing for volunteers and clients. So we're going to open up our physical services in January. In the meantime, we're continuing with our virtual services. But a typical day in Dress for Success, say if it was a virtual at the minute, and any of your connections or your clients want to do a virtual volunteering day, you sign up to your system, and then you'll get X amount of clients that day, where you get their calls, and whether you're interested in the interview skills or career pathways or a virtual dressing, you know, whatever area of expertise you have to offer, we'll match it up. So, and then when our physical services reopen, you come over to our boutique, and, you know, you sort of work with the clients during the day, but also as well, you might be asked to, you know, it's very hands-on. You might be asked to, you know, for example, a lot of the retailers will give us end of line clearances, etc. as well. So there's maybe days we would get 50 boxes of clothes, you know, so we need to go through those, and whether they're from corporate donations through clothing drives, individual donations. So we need to go through them, and we always have a couple of areas of sorting where, you know, there will be clothes for our clients for capsule wardrobes and interviews. There'll be clothes for our charity shop in Kensington, which are maybe not interview appropriate, and we use as a fundraiser. And then there's clothes that we just can't use because maybe there's a zip broken or etc. or something, but we always donate them on to another charity. So we never waste anything. We're part of the green environment of sustainability of fashion. So we never ever, and in fact, that's where we are tapping into at the minute, especially as retailers acknowledge that you shouldn't throw your clothes on a landfill site. You know, if you want space in your warehouse, you should be giving them to charities or others so that we can have a longer life, you know, from clothes.
Now, I wanted to ask you particularly about this donation. I can't talk, a donation that I'm doing at the minute. So I've got my survey out there asking women, are they looking after their finances? And if they're not, what's the reason? Because if it's something within financial services industry that I can change, well, then obviously I'll do what I can to change it, but I need to understand first what the issues are. The survey is anonymous. It's only going to take about 5 minutes to fill it in. And for everyone who completes the survey, I'm going to donate £5 to Dress for Success. So for people to understand maybe what you can do with the money, let's say for each 10 people, there's a £50 donation. What does £50 cover in Dress for Success?
So first of all, it's a brilliant initiative you have, because I think women, no matter what level they are in their professional development or their area of work, you know, financial planning is sometimes a bit at the background, you know, and I know with our clients, financial planning isn't there. So I think what you're doing is absolutely fabulous, because some of our clients, or hopefully the majority of our clients, once they get a job, they will become professionals, and financial planning will be a big area of their future planning. It takes £200 for us to support a woman for 15 months. So, you know, so £200 would get them a free wardrobe of clothes. So it would be a free capsule wardrobe and the styling around that, and free interview clothes. It gets them access to the corporate environment on career development days. It gets them interview skills and techniques and mock interviews for when they're going for an interview. And when they get the job, it gives them a year's professional development through a monthly professional women's group where corporate volunteers facilitate sessions in like financial literacy or, you know, time management or work-life balance, etc. as well. £50 of that, I mean, if you break it down, and we could break it down even into what £10 would get you, but £50 of that would get them their first interview and their the support they need. It could be a few things. It could be the support they need to really prepare for the interview and get them their styling session with a group, and it's usually 3 volunteers that would work with them. So it would be 2 volunteers that would style them, and then a volunteer that would look at their interview and give them the do's and don'ts of interviews, etc. as well. It would also allow them to have access to our career development days, and we usually hold them once a month with a corporate who sponsors it. And it means that they are opening up a network for them, a network with other women within their within the same sort of similar situation, and also a network of professionals in the corporate world, because the corporates then would maybe take that lady as a one-to-one sort of short-term mentoring program. So if they want it, we never force any woman who doesn't want to do what, you know, what we suggest, you know, because different women are at different levels of development. But £50 would assist them in getting the pre-employment training they need to be successful in getting the job. I mean, £200. So you're saying if 10 people fill in the survey, and it would be great even if a group of professional women got together and said, right, I'm going to get some of my peers here to fill in this survey, because if 40 women fill it in, you could track you mean what we could do is, that means you've given support to a woman for up to 15 months, and you could easily sort of sponsor a woman there, that we
Yeah.
could track that lady for you, and you can get a sort of story of her journey. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Because actually what I'm hoping for are 500 responses. So that would be 2,500.
Yeah.
And despite being a financial advisor, my mental arithmetic's pretty poor, so I can't quite work out how many women that is.
25. So that's roughly about 25, 26 women. So,
and then that's incredible, isn't it, as well? Because we're talking about there's an 80% success rate from the woman coming in your door to have all her training and everything, to her getting a job. And then we're talking about that helping children and future children and generations. It's got a massive, massive impact, isn't it?
It has a massive impact, Mary. And what you could do, so for example, if you manage to get your 500 surveys back, which is not a big ask, really. So if you manage to get your 500 surveys back, you know, and there was a donation of £5 for each survey, etc., you could then have a story of those women who have went through that journey and who you've supported, and then you can disseminate that to the survey respondents and say, this is what, you know, this is what you have to do, you know. And there's nothing more inspiring. Listen, I've always worked in an environment where I give back, whether it was in school improvement and now this job, and there's nothing more satisfying than helping another individual. I don't think there is anything more satisfying than saying, I've did this. And every day, even through this pandemic, and it's been hard for everyone, even through this pandemic, every day at Dress for Success, you've made a difference somewhere. You know? And that's, I always say, what we do is a no-brainer. It's just a no-brainer. It was developed by a group of women 20 years ago in New York in a basement, you know, and look how far we've come globally.
Amazing.
And Greater London, my ambition for Greater London, and I will achieve this ambition, is to be the centre is to be the centre of excellence for Western Europe, so that we disseminate all the good practice and make sure that anything that's delivered in Western Europe is delivered with quality. So, you know, that's my ambition. I want to have a centre of excellence somewhere in London. So if in any way, you know, any individuals are listening to this out there and they wanted to make a massive impact, do it from either volunteering to donation of clothes to donation of finances, anything you think that can help. Because honestly, even when you volunteer at Dress for Success and you come over for a day when we open up physically, you'll never look back. You won't. You will love what we do, you know. So, you know, it's a simple ask with a massive impact. You know, I always say we deliver a small intervention that makes a big impact on the life of a woman.
And of course, you've already mentioned it, that the whole COVID has had a disproportionate effect on women, hasn't it? Because so many more women are in retail, they're in the leisure, you know, hospitality, all the areas that have been impacted so badly.
Absolutely, Mary. And just, it's not even just in London, it's across the world. And I mean, we sort of would liaise very frequently with New York, you know, in the headquarters in New York, and the CEO and what they're doing too. And they've did a lot of research. And women have borne the brunt of this pandemic, you know, not even just in terms of being made redundant, but even on their mental health and looking after children. I mean, you know, children, their mental health is suffering as well. So if you're a single parent or a parent, you know, with children, you know, you're having to try and keep positive for your child as well. So if you're not in a positive frame of mind because you've lost your job or because you've increased mental health issues, etc., what impact is that going to have on your child? You know, so I mean, women have borne the brunt. I mean, just yesterday on the news that the Arcadia
of course,
so the group, you know, was put into administration. You know, goodness knows, hopefully jobs will be saved, but a lot of those jobs are women. You know,
they're going to be females, aren't they?
Yeah. So a lot of the jobs that have been made redundant, and even the furlough scheme, which was fabulous, but you know, when the furlough scheme ends, you know, you don't know is like businesses take an opportunity of the furlough scheme, rightly so, but at the end, when it all finishes in March, will that create more redundancies? And if so, you know, how many, what percentage is going to be women? And, you know, a lot of, if it's hospitality, if it's, you know, retail, if it's administration, whatever, you know, there is going to be more competition for
Yeah.
new jobs coming in as the economy grows again. So that's where we are in a position that we can assist women in really building their confidence that they're at the forefront of the competition.
Yeah.
You know, as I said earlier, we did a sort of support organization engagement survey, and the suggestion is, and it's coming back, the feedback suggests that we're going to be really in demand for our services in the future, because as I say, the job centres don't give that one-to-one sort of in-house training and professional styling that we do, you know.
That's just been fantastic. I suppose what I want to say to round it all up is, please fill in my survey to anyone listening, because I really want to get up to 500 people, 2,500 to the charity. And for anyone else who's interested, Fionnuala, shall I just include your email?
Absolutely, our website, which is dressforsuccessgl.org, and you can get all the information you need on that. But if anybody wants to reach out individually, they're welcome to do so. Okay,
anything else that you think maybe we haven't touched on that's relevant?
The only thing that I can say is, look, basically what we are and what you should be thinking about is women supporting women.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of male supporters there as well, you know, because everybody has a sister, you know, a daughter, maybe, a mother, definitely. So, you know, women at certain times of life need support, you know, and not all our women are from low income, sort of socially disadvantaged backgrounds. There's a lot of young graduates coming out of there, and think of the younger generation coming through, the 16 to 25-year-olds. I mean, what, especially this pandemic, how's that impacting them in the future? They need help in giving their confidence back. I mean, even when you go through university, there is a niche there where they come out, and, you know, a lot of the graduates don't have those good communication skills, don't have those confidence building. So all I'm saying is, think about it for a minute. Spend 5 minutes of your day of thinking of, how can I help another woman, and see the ripple effect it has on the rest of her family around her and her community and her journey towards success.
So brilliant. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I hope lots and lots of people listen in to this.
Yes. Please do fill in the survey. Yes.
Yeah.